Hi, I'm Abe Oudshoorn. I'm assistant professor in the School of Nursing at Western University in London, Ontario. My perception as being a nurse for quite a few years now is that nursing is very white in Canada, that we don't represent the population of Canadians. I looked to see if there was any data on this. Unfortunately, we don't track this in nursing. I think there's been a sense in the past that collecting data has also been used harmfully, and we need to acknowledge that. Race-based data, ethnicity-based data has been used, unfortunately, against people to make false conclusions and false assumptions. And so there's this fear about collecting the data. But on the other hand, without the data, we don't know the reality. And it's then easy to hide this subtle discrimination behind our lack of numbers. What I've been hearing from leaders in the Black Lives Matter movement is that white people need to talk to white people. And so that's what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk to other white nurses out there and really ask us, what are the next actions we need to take? What I wanted to say is that I recognize the great work we've been doing in the profession around cultural sensitivity, speaking about diversity, and trying to teach ourselves as nurses how to be respectful to people. Unfortunately, I think all that has done is maybe a very, very slow drift into diversity. It's time for us to take action. It's time for us as nurses to change the face of our profession in an active way and to come up with particular strategies that are going to do that. When I think about actions for change, naturally as an educator, I think about what we can do in our universities and colleges in particular. One is looking towards our students. We need to really think about active recruitment. Recruitment's based on factors such as grades, these very impersonal ways of bringing people into our programs, where histories of racism and discrimination can skew all of that and screen out Black, Indigenous, and people of color from our programs. At the School of Nursing at Western, one of our focuses over the past couple of years has been on Indigenous students, Indigenous content in our curriculum. But there were also some big changes we had to make in terms of who were sitting around our tables and who was engaging and giving us the leadership on making these changes. As faculty, I think some of what we need to do is we need to actively step out of some spaces. Myself, as a white nurse, I have a lot of platforms, and it's time for me sometimes to step aside and to look to others, whether it's speaking at conferences, at workshops, whether it's sitting on boards, on leadership committees. Are there others who would be better suited to represent the full diversity of the profession than myself? As a white nurse speaking to white nurses, I am calling on us to move from talk to action, to move from understanding diversity to actually creating diversity within the profession. As an educator, I'm working hard to recruit Black, Indigenous, and people of color into our graduate program to work with me. I think we can all do this as educators. As nurses working in the profession, how are we taking up space? How are we making space? And how are we ensuring that that diversity is happening in an active